Today I'm feeling excited. Yesterday I was really scared.
I want to see all the decisions made.
A lot of decisions about us.
Yeah.
Get them to think about our perspective.
The flags look deadly.
I think that it's an opportunity that only comes around once.
Eunice Aston and Mungi Sumner have only ever been visitors to this place.
In the boss's seat.
Now they're members of South Australia's inaugural Voice to State Parliament.
I know. Who would have imagined that would have got here, mate? That we actually sitting here now.
Sitting here now, yeah, geez. I feel real good about being elected by my own people, putting me in this position, and I thank them very much.
Using the system, the parliamentary system, hopefully we can work together in order to bring some really good change for all of us so that we can progress faster than we have been.
"130 Aboriginal people stood for election. Mungi and Eunice are 2 of 46 successful candidates.
We know about this land. We've been here for a long time. I want people to learn from us, not just get in there and then be a dictator. I don't want to do that. I want people to learn from everything that we do.
We've got an amazing array of people who are going to represent their communities, and I'm really proud that in South Australia we're leading the way.
South Australia's Voice will consist of local and state advisory bodies and cost about $1.5 million a year to run. The electees represent 6 regions across the state.
Each of the 46 members of the 6 local voices will receive a remuneration of $3,000 a year. For this initial term, it's a 2-year term. It'll up until the next South Australian state election in March 2026, and then the elections will be held at the same time as the state elections.
12 members will be selected to liaise with government. 2 presiding members will speak directly to Parliament.
Those 2 people will have the ability to address Parliament on any legislation that comes before Parliament. Not to amend, not to block, not to vote on, but just put views forward to give advice to Parliament. And the statewide body will also have an ability twice a year to meet with Cabinet, the ministers who make the decisions, but also importantly, twice a year to meet with the senior executives of government departments.
For decades, Mungi Sumner's been a cultural ambassador for the Ngarrindjeri and Kaurna peoples of South Australia. While the Voice won't have veto powers, he believes it will be a brave government which ignores good advice.
I always remember a story when I was a little boy. My uncle, he was a blacksmith, and I used to go and watch him make these harpoons, and he used to make the tips out of the steel, and he'd heat them up and then he'd bend them and then bring them up and sharpen them up. He said, "Now, when I got here, don't you touch that, that's hot." What do you think I did when he walked out the door? Yeah, I touched it. When people say, well, we don't have to do that if you advise us not to, well, that's okay. But you learn too that you should have listened. You should have took the advice of people that know this country.
From today, in this state, their voices will be heard.
The SA Voice was a key election commitment from the Malinauskas Labor government. Results show only 2,500 formal ballots were counted, representing fewer than 10% of eligible Indigenous voters. The minister believes the defeat of the federal Voice had an impact on turnout.
Yeah, I think a turnout of what we've seen is to be expected. Certainly members of the Aboriginal community around South Australia have mentioned to me that there were certainly some that are getting over the referendum. It was a difficult experience for a lot of Aboriginal people.
One candidate was elected with just 6 first preference votes. Ngarrindjeri elder Eunice Aston received 37 votes and argues there was not enough publicity about the election or how to vote.
There were low votes because people didn't understand. Even in our area, people didn't know where the voting booth was. I didn't know where it was.
I'm sure the Electoral Commissioner will have a good look at what worked well and what could be done differently next time.
The voice is not constitutionally enshrined, meaning a future government could change or disband it. The South Australian Liberal Party opposed its establishment and is yet to clarify what it will do should it win the next state election.
Unless it can be demonstrated that it's performing poorly or there's of no benefit whatsoever to the voice, I think it'd be a kick in the guts to Aboriginal people in South Australia if it was just a political ideology and nothing else that had to change after the next election.
For now, these electees are keen to get to work. Having worked in the sector, Eunice's priority is health, along with child welfare and the environment.
The most important thing is to sit and listen, talk and listen to each other. And that's our hope, is that we all start working together instead of against each other, sitting down and talking and working out what our future is going to be.
The Voice will formally start providing advice from the second half of this year.
Will the Voice be effective?
I think it will be effective. At the moment, there isn't that ability, so this is better than the status quo. Decisions are better when those who are affected by the decisions have more of a say in how they look.
Tell the stories about this land, about our people,
Yeah.
about what's important for us.
That's it.
You can't grow anything unless you plant the seed first, take care of it and nurture it. Let's take care of this and nurture this.